This is the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, keeping you informed about the happenings in Annapolis and the area. Local news, local sports, local events, local opinion, and of course, local weather. The Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief starts now.
Good morning. It's Friday, October 18th, 2019. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Sometimes the timing is just off for the news, and yesterday that was about it. All hell broke loose just after we recorded, so let's get into it. On Wednesday night at about 10:30, the Annapolis Police Department responded to the unit block of Ben's Drive, and that's in the Bay Ridge Gardens community, for a shooting. There they discovered a woman, Tiara Taylor, 30, of Ben's Drive, had been shot. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Annapolis police are actively investigating this, and anybody that has any information is asked to call 410-260-3439. Now, this is the third homicide in the city this year and the first under newly appointed Police Chief Edward Jackson's watch. Police Department is actively investigating, and they do not have any suspects in this case. On Wednesday afternoon at about 11 a.m., an adult male entered the Wells Fargo Bank in the Bay Forest Shopping Center and approached an employee, handed the employee a note demanding money, and implied that he had a weapon. The suspect did steal the money and fled the business on foot. The Annapolis Police Department is actively investigating, and they do not have any suspects in this case. And as we all have heard by now, U.S. Representative Elijah Cummings passed away yesterday morning at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore. He was 68 years old. He was a leading figure in the impeachment inquiry into President Donald Trump as chairman of the House Oversight and Reform Committee, and he had been battling health issues over the past few years. Prior to running for and winning Congress in 1996, Cummings served in the Maryland House of Delegates since 1983, and he was very popular with his constituents. The closest election that he faced was in 2014 when he won with 69.9% of the vote. Governor Larry Hogan said, "We are deeply saddened by the passing of Congressman Elijah Cummings, who was a fierce advocate for civil rights and for Maryland for more than 3 decades. Congressman Cummings leaves behind an incredible legacy of fighting for Baltimore City and working to improve people's lives. He was a passionate and dedicated public servant whose countless contributions made our state and our country better. Maryland's First Lady and I ask Marylanders to join us in praying for his loved ones, his constituents, and his colleagues in the U.S. House of Representatives." President Donald Trump also tweeted out his condolences, saying, "My warmest condolences to the family and many friends of Congressman Elijah Cummings. I got to see firsthand the strength, passion, and wisdom of his highly respected political leader. His work, his voice on so many fronts will be very hard, if not impossible, to replace." Arundel County has accepted an $8.5 million grant to fund 70 additional new firefighters. Now, this is the one that County Executive Steve Shue refused back in his term, and this is what they call a SAFER grant, Staffing for Adequate Fire and Emergency Response. While County Executive Pittman says the grant is a great opportunity to make the county safer, former County Executive Steve Shue said there was nothing in place to continue paying those 70 firefighters once the grant money ran out. Remember that story about that Pasadena man that ended up shooting somebody that was coming to his house to cause him harm a few weeks ago? Well, it looks like Gregory Corwick has had most of the charges against him dismissed. All of the felony charges that have been lodged against him have been dismissed because of a mistake in the booking. Back in 2005, he was convicted of first-degree burglary, but it was a probation before judgment, which allowed him to plead guilty to avoid a conviction once he successfully completed the terms of his probation, so therefore he did not have a conviction on his record. Therefore, he was allowed to possess the guns. The guns that he did have were legally purchased, and there is question as to whether the state should have flagged him or not. So this case is likely to have some twists and turns there, and his attorney did successfully argue to get him released from jail, and he is now on home arrest. He is allowed to go to his lawyer's office, to his children's doctor's appointments, and religious ceremonies. We're going to follow this one. This will be a little bit interesting. And some exciting housekeeping news as we wrap up. Starting on Monday and every Monday, Ann Alsina from CovingtonAlsina. She is a financial planning / investment firm, and she's going to be giving us some plain talk advice to help us understand exactly how we can save, invest, and retire in the future. Probably a whole lot more. You want to check her out at CovingtonAlsina.com, CovingtonAlsina.com, and be sure to give us a listen on Monday and every Monday after that. If you are someplace where you can leave us a recommendation or a review, please do that. And please let your friends and family and colleagues know about us, because that's how we grow. All right, it is Friday. We do have a list of things that you may want to consider doing for the weekend, and it is a pretty healthy list and got some good things coming up. We have George Young with your local DMV weather forecast. He's coming up in just a minute.
Here's to the teacher who spends her weekend helping children who need a little extra attention. To the soldier who missed the birth of his baby while serving overseas. To the EMT working full-time and taking night classes. To the police officers and firefighters working long hours away from their families to keep our families safe. Here's to you, our hometown heroes. I'm Alan Hyatt, Chairman and President of Severn Bank, and we know there are many heroes among us. Men and women who serve without expecting anything in return. Which is why we're honored to offer our Hometown Heroes program to educators, law enforcement officers, firefighters, first responders, healthcare workers, and military personnel. Whether you're opening a checking account or buying a new home, we're here to give back to you. Learn more about our Hometown Heroes program at severnbank.com. Severn Bank, here with you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Going out? You need the most up-to-date local weather. Here's George Young from DMV Weather in Annapolis with today's forecast.
Hey everyone, this is George with DMV Weather, and this is your Eye on Annapolis forecast for Friday, October 18th. Yesterday was a chilly one despite all the sunshine, as gusty winds made cooler temps feel slightly cold at times. But today will be a nice improvement with less wind and slightly warmer temps in the 60s before a weekend that now looks a little less promising than it did just 36 hours ago, as a tropical system from the Gulf of Mexico region could move quickly enough to the northeast to bring clouds and showers to the Annapolis region Sunday after a day of bright sunshine and mid to upper 60s on Saturday across the entire mid-Atlantic. So definitely get out and about tomorrow, but have a plan B for Sunday just in case, or just plan ahead for Sunday to be a day of watching football at home, hitting some restaurants in Annapolis, going to a few museums in D.C. or Baltimore, or whatever else makes being inside fun. Okay, that's it for today. This is George Young of DMV Weather. Make it a great day out there, and be sure to get our free app on all of your devices by searching for DCMDVA Weather in the Apple or Google app stores, and also follow us on Facebook and Twitter and on our website at dmvweather.com so you can always stay weather informed.
Have you ever been to the Annapolis Mall when it opens for the day? Maybe you've noticed the line of folks waiting to get into the Apple Store. As you may know, I'm a Mac user, and today's episode of the Daily News Brief, in fact, all of the episodes of the Daily News Brief have been produced right here on my Mac computer. What you might not know about is Macmedics. They were founded here in Annapolis in 1989, and they are an Apple-authorized premium service provider, the only one in the Baltimore, Annapolis, D.C. area. And what that means to you is that they repair all Apple devices, including the iPhone screens and batteries, all without an appointment. And most repairs are done the same day, usually within 2 hours. They also sell everything except the iPhone and the watch for the same price as Apple. I don't know why you would go anywhere else. Give them a call at 410-757-MACS, or if you're not into the whole letter thing, 410-757-6227. Stop by their retail store in Severna Park on Benfield Road, or their service center in Lanham, right off of Route 50. Or you can always check them out online at macmedics.com. I'll tell you, they've saved me quite a few times, and I know they can save you.
Every weekend, there's something exciting going on in the Annapolis area. Be sure to visit eyeonannapolis.net to sign up for a newsletter highlighting all the weekend events. Here are our top picks for this weekend.
If you're trying to figure out what to do this weekend, we have the solution for you. I've got a list of ton of things to do. First off, Saturday at noon, we're launching another Legacy Business Series podcast. This time it's with the Mitchell Gallery. We spoke with Heidi Schaller and Lucinda Edinburgh from the Mitchell Gallery over there at St. John's College. It was a very interesting one. You want to make sure you check that out. That drops at noon on Saturday right here on the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief feed. Also Saturday afternoon, you've got Navy football. Navy takes on University of Southern Florida at 3:30. We will be there. We will have a live blog. Follow us on Twitter, and we'll also have some audio updates at the end of the quarter, pregame, halftime, all of that stuff. A couple more weekends left for the Renaissance Festival, as well as the Homestead Gardens Fall Festival. Admission to the Homestead Gardens Festival is only $12. It's great for the kids. And if you need some Halloween swag for your house, that would be the place to go. Tomorrow up at Kurtz's Beach up in Pasadena, it is Wine on the Water 2019. And this is Route 1 Apparel's wine festival that they've done for several years here. And it's just a gorgeous place to do it. Check out some new Maryland wines. Check out some new Maryland merchandise. Gets underway at noon, goes till 5 p.m. And you can get tickets and find out more information at wineonthewaterfest.com. If you're not into going all the way up to Pasadena, go on over to Maryland Avenue on Sunday. It is the Fall Festival, Halloween on the Avenue. Gets underway at 10 a.m., goes till 5 p.m. Of course, it is free. And this is the 50th year of this Halloween on the Avenue. You'll have food, vendors, music, live entertainment, the Halloween Pup Parade, and a whole lot of fun Sunday from 10 to 5. Also Sunday from noon to 8 over at the Byzantium Center over on Riva Road. This is a serious one. This is Burgers and Bans for Suicide Prevention here in Annapolis. They did it up in Severna Park for several years, and they're bringing it down to Annapolis. It gets the conversation started about suicide prevention. A wonderful event, noon to 8. You can get tickets at eventbrite.com. It is a fundraiser, it is a community event, it is a party, and it is a wildly fun time. You'll have tons of live music, and up on the bill, I'm just looking out, you've got the Z Band, Mojo Bozo's Electric Circus, the Kelly Bell Band, Mac and Blue, Devibe and Conga, Dean Rosenthal. Lots of great bands that are going to be going on all afternoon at the Byzantium Center. We talked about wine up in Pasadena, but we didn't talk about beer. It is Dogtoberfest Homebrew Festival, benefiting the Senior Dog Sanctuary. And this is put on by Dogwood Acres Pet Retreat, and it's happening at the Annapolis Maritime Museum and Park. It's going to be at the Eastport campus right there at the McNasby's building. It gets underway at 2 p.m., goes till 6 p.m. Tickets are available at whatsuptix.com. And this is the third annual Dogtoberfest. Bring your pup, sample local home craft brewed beers and spirits, listen to live music, enjoy tasty food, all to support a great cause. Your tickets do include admission, a tasting glass, unlimited samples, live music by Tobias Russell, and they will have a pet photographer on there, Red Leash Photography, to capture that special moment between you and your pup. And finally, I wanted to bring up an event that's happening next Friday, the 25th, because it's something you may want to put on your calendar if you've got some kids. This is a huge trunk or treat event being held at the Bay Area Community Church, and it's called Trunk or Treat. It's a whole pirate theme thing. And if you've never seen what they do for Halloween, they just take the woods behind that church and they just make it absolutely incredible, fantastical, and magical. That's about all I can say about it. It is free. It goes from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. And again, this is next Friday, the 25th, at the Bay Area Community Church. And that's on Chesterfield Road in Annapolis. Even though it says Annapolis, it's kind of Crownsville-ish. It's on the road that goes to the Renn Fest. All right, that is about it for the stuff to do this weekend. Boy, there's an awful lot for you to choose from. Pick one, pick two, pick them all. It doesn't matter. Whatever you do, please do it safely. And we will see you here on Monday. Have a great weekend.
When a ring from the United States Naval Academy comes into Zachary's for a center stone, it always makes us wonder, where's this one going? Where's this one been? A nuclear sub in the North Atlantic? A carrier deck in the South Pacific? The moon? 52 astronauts are Academy graduates, from Iwo Jima to Okinawa, Corregidor to the Coral Sea, Midway to the Persian Gulf, Congress to the White House. These rings go where America goes. 73 that went to war were awarded the Medal of Honor. But wherever they go, wherever they may serve, our admiration goes with them.
Zachary's. Online at zacharysjewelers.com. More than a jewelry store, a jeweler.
You've been listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Tell your friends and colleagues this is the podcast where you can keep up on the latest with what's going on in Annapolis. And also tell them about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find even more information. This podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m., keeping you informed with the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. And take a moment to listen to our other podcast, The Maryland Crabs, released every Thursday at noon.